Hello folks, just a quick one for you today as we're looking at some business lease deals. I'm going to start off with cars and then we're going to move on to commercials at the end. For the cars, I'm just looking at electrics and plug-in hybrids simply because of company car tax. Like if you were to get yourself a full-on petrol or diesel now, you are going to get absolutely torn to shreds. So for a business lease, it seems to make perfect sense to just look at plug-in hybrids and electrics. For the vans, the deals are not so good at the moment. There's a couple of decent things, so I've got those out for you. But let's crack straight on. I'm looking at the usual profile on these. So 3-year deals, although a couple are 2-year deals. There's a couple of very tasty BMWs at the end of this that are on 2-year deals and 10,000 miles a year. Just showing you one cheapie to get started, the Nissan Leaf. It's been around forever now. 478 upfront plus VAT. Obviously, all the deals in this video are plus VAT, and 159 quid a month. We know enough about the Leaf for me to bang on about it too much. It has been like fractionally cheaper than this. It was about 8 quid a month less than this. But I mean, 159 quid a month for a brand new car for 3 years on 10,000 miles a year is not shocking, is it? VW ID.7 Tourer, the Match Pro, 373 miles of range, 286 brake horsepower, 605 litres of boot space, just over £1,000 up front and 350 a month plus VAT. 401 has been the average on it. Its lowest point was actually 30 quid a month less than it is right now, but it hardly registers on here, so I'm not sure when that was. Highest price on it's been 531 quid. It's a really good car. I mean, you could use this for anything. A friend of mine's a gardener and he was thinking about replacing his pickup and looking at cars that he could use and actually get stuff into the back of, etc. And this is one of the ones that he's looking at simply because it makes tons of practical sense. It's a perfectly great usable car when you want it, and when you actually need to lug a bit of gear around. 605 litres of boot space, the seats go down, and it's basically a small van at that point. 1,051 up front and 350 a month. Polestar 4. Very interesting car, long range dual motor plus, 360 miles of range, 526 litres of boot space, insurance group 48 and 544 brake horsepower. 0 to 62 on that car is 3.8 seconds. That would even make my hair curl, and that's not the easiest thing to do. £807 a month has been the average on it, 949 at its peak, and its lowest point was 466, currently 473, so you know, 5-6 quid more than it was at its absolute rock bottom. It's in stock, so it will go very quickly. 1,419 up front and 473 a month gets you in that bad boy, and very striking it is too. No back windscreen in that one. It's got cameras instead. It's a brave new world. Jaguar I-Pace is next. The old favourite, I guess, the EV400 R-Dynamic SE Black. Automatic, obviously, well, they all are. 277 miles of range, 505 litres of boot space, 400 brake horsepower, 4.8 seconds to 62. 1,370 at its peak, 472 at its lowest point, currently 495. It's been up and down a lot. I don't think you can even order one of these anymore. Because Jag have kind of turned everything off until they become that all-electric brand that we've seen so much about. So there will be very few new examples of these left. 495 quid a month with 1486 up front. Now, we've got the BMW i7. We've also got the 7 Series plug-in hybrid. Let's look at the fully electric one first. 373 miles of range, 455 horsepower, insurance group 50 and 500 litres of boot space. 0 to 62 on that one's 5.5 seconds. And the interior, is all a little bit lovely and very well put together. £592 a month. This is a 2-year deal. A couple of these BMW deals are 2-year deals. 733 a month. Lowest price on it, 592. So now that is the lowest price we've seen it. 1,168 at its peak. So basically double what it is right now. 1,776 up front, 592 per month plus VAT. 2-year deal on 10,000 miles a year. Now the 7 Series plug-in hybrid Obviously, you're going to pay a bit more in terms of the company car tax on this, but it may suit your use case a bit better. 4.8 seconds to 62, 489 brake horsepower, insurance group 50, 525 litres of boot space, 1,789 upfront and 596 a month. This one's averaged over £1,000, and at its peak it was 1,800 quid. This is the lowest price we've seen it. Just literally last week was £631 a month. In December, it was 1,657 a month. And for a large part of the year, these have been between sort of 800 and £1,000, currently 596 plus VAT. And if you want to see something where the price has dropped quite spectacularly, they don't come much more spectacular than this. Again, it's a 2-year deal, 1,800 up front, 603 a month, 5.1 seconds to 62, 527 litres of boot space, insurance group 50, 476 brake horsepower, 188 mpg. So one of those stupid plug-in hybrid MPG figures that makes no sense to anyone. The BMW XM50e, 1,125 a month has been the average on it. At its peak, nearly £2,300 a month. Just take a minute and get your head around that. Currently 603 a month with 1,809 up front. You know, 600 quid a month's a lot of money, but it's a hell of a lot less than 2,300 a month, and indeed a hell of a lot less than its average of 1,125 a month. In the real world, for long periods, you could get this for about 950, 970, that sort of area, for a large part of the year. So really compare the 600 quid to that, I would say, rather than these massive peaks. But that's still quite a significant saving if you're in the market for such a weapon. Then we've got the BMW iX all electric, £692 a month with 2,000 up front, 500 litres of boot space, insurance group 50, 382 miles of range, 4.6 seconds to 62, 523 brake horsepower. 835 has been the average on this, 1251 at its peak. Lowest point was about 40 quid a month less than this, 35 quid a month less than this. Currently 692 with £2,000 up front. Right, onto the vans. We're starting off with this little electric vans, the Nissan Townstar. You can also get this as the Renault, I think, and the Mercedes 𝑘. They're all the same thing, essentially, with a few little tweaks here and there. This one's the L2 version, so you're going to get a bit of a bigger load in this one. 166 miles of range, load length of 2.23 metres, and payload approaching 3/4 of a tonne. £359 a month on average, 514 at its highest point, and at its lowest point is about 15 quid a month less than it is right now. 211 a month with 634 up front. I did a review of the 𝑘. I think it might have been on the Men and Motors channel, so you can go and check that out if you want. Really nice thing that's incredibly car-like to drive, but the range in the real world, like with nothing in it, is probably more like 120, something like that. And obviously, if you've got it loaded up, that's going to probably dip under the 100 mark. So keep that in mind. If you're just doing local stuff, I mean, it's perfect. And I actually did one quite long run in one of these, and it was great, to be fair. Very, very car-like and felt very refined. And it's weird getting out of a little van and not kind of being deaf and shaking quite a lot. So it's not all bad, folks. Peugeot Partner long 1.5 blue HDI 100 professional van, diesel. This one, 46 miles of range. You've got payload of just under a tonne and a load length just over 2 metres. This one's a double cab, so you've got 5 seats in there and then your load area at the back. 696 up front and 232 a month. Average on this one's been 317. At its peak, 427. And this right now is the lowest price we've seen one. It is in stock, so it will go quickly. And then we've got the Peugeot Expert L2 2-litre blue HDI 145 asphalt van. 310 excluding VAT, with 931 up front. Payload in this one, 1.3 tonnes, 2.8 metre load length, 34 mpg, 489 a month on average, 656 at its peak. Its lowest point was about 25 quid a month less than it is right now. But vans in general at the moment are not on exceptionally good deals. That's sort of where they always are, and there's nothing mind-blowing about. So this does look like fairly decent value against some of the competition right now. 931 up front, 310 a month. Links to all these deals are in the video description. There's one for cars and one for commercials, so go and click on those. It does help support the channel. It's how I keep the lights on, quite literally. 2 of them over there and a couple behind me. Thanks for all the support. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so, and I'll see you on the next one. Huge thanks to all my channel members for your continued support. I really do appreciate it.